Hello and welcome to Business Sense. I'm Ralph Rivas. For today's episode, we have two guests. We have Converge President and Co-founder Grace Uy and COO Jesus Romero. Hi again, Sir Buboy, and nice to finally meet you, Mrs. Uy.
Hi,
Good
Ralph.
evening, Ralph.
Good evening.
Hello po. Now, I want to start off by telling the both of you that I recently attended a press briefing with one of your competitors, Globe. And Mr. Ernest Koo was asked about who's the bigger competition between the two Dennis Uys, Dennis Uy of Pampanga and the Dennis Uy of Davao. And he said, I quote, right now, I think Converge is doing a very good job in executing their fiber plan. Mrs. Uy, Sir Buboy, your reaction to this, please.
Yeah, from our perspective, we've always said competition is good. So we're gratified that our efforts have been recognized. But again, to us, it's really about staying true to our mission and our strategy. And we just take competition as something that's a given. It's always been there anyway.
Yeah,
Kayo, ma'am.
for me, it's very flattering, no, for Ernest to say that. It's nakakataba ng puso, no, because we all know that somehow we compete in this space, no. But again, I would want to remind, no, this is such a blue ocean opportunity, no, that the market is just too big, and all of us swimming in that pool it's even better, no, the more the merrier, so that we can wire faster and we can deliver, to more people the true speed of fast internet. So, that's how it is. We just do our best. We continue to put focus on just delivering what we promised to all our investor.
So you described this market as an ocean. So it's not saturated yet ba? Or there's plenty, hindi pa ba?
Super layo pa. We're basically all of us combined, no? All competition combined. We're really just like serving 20% of the household, no? And if you look at the Asian countries, minimum sa kanila, like even Vietnam, no? They're like 50-60% household are already using fiber internet. No? So a big room for all of us.
Now, moving on to earnings. Converge reported impressive earnings in the first 9 months of this year. 5.2 billion pesos in net income. That's from 2.2 billion, 137% increase. Meanwhile, revenues up 76% to 18.8 billion. So what were the growth drivers and projections na for the full year 2021 earnings?
Growth drivers, definitely it's because of the massive expansion that we're doing, no, this year alone. We already like wired just this quarter we actually wired 650,000 new ports, no. That's the biggest we've done in any quarter, no. So we currently already have about 9.6 million household coverage, and that's covering about 38% of the nationwide household. So really because of the massive expansion that we're doing. That's why the revenue is likewise growing as fast.
So what about for next year? People are sana naman lalabas na yung mga tao from their homes with COVID-19 cases going down. How's that gonna affect Converge?
Well, for next year, no, as Grace was saying, it's all about the port rollout. So next year, firstly, our plan is still to continue to make more ports available for the customers, especially in Vismin, where we want to deploy our Go Deep strategy. And why am I saying that? It's because, again, to the point of the market being underserved. We think that, not because people were locked up during the intermittent lockdowns is the reason why they're buying broadband. We think differently. The reason why they were not buying broadband before, or fiber broadband to be specific, is it was just not available. Kaya our mission, as Grace mentioned, is to bring as many ports into the market as possible. And we do have a target before. We stated we want to reach 55% of the households. That was earlier programmed for 2025. at the current pace and trajectory that we are doing, we'll probably hit 55% of households by 2023. So
Oh,
close to
wow.
years earlier. And, that will make the service available. And, that is what will cause customers to buy because now the service is available, not because the lockdowns have been lifted or COVID has improved.
Mm. Now, I'm not sure if this is too early to ask pa, no, but business reporters are already asking all companies, may capex na ba for 2022? And targets in terms of numbers of subscribers, coverage, things like that.
Ralph, it's still too early to ask. We're finalizing our targets and budget for next year. Hopefully, by the next round of investor briefing, no, by next maybe February, March, then we will share all this information.
Mm. But in the general sense, anong nakikita niyong dapat pagkagastusan ng Converge for next year?
Definitely, it's still the port rollouts. No, we were
Mm.
basically just parang nasa ano pa lang kami. We just stepped on this main area. No, there's huge potential there where we have wired, I think, over 100,000 lines pa lang, no? And I'm pretty sure there's
Mm.
at least 5 to 600,000 lines. So
Mm.
isa pa lang kami, definitely capex will fall on putting up more ports and to serve more people.
Mm. Now, I also want to talk about this recent news about an Earth station being constructed in Angeles City, Pampanga. Can you tell us and the audience what this Earth station is all about? Ano bang ginagawa nito and what does it mean for Converge and subscribers?
Yeah. I'm sure that question has a follow on about a certain very popular low Earth. No, actually, the company and an affiliate won a contract with a large government agency to provide up to 2,000 locations with internet access. And these locations are unserved by any wired connection today. So the best way to serve those customers is really via satellite technology. So that Earth station that's being mentioned is basically the hub. That's where all of the remote satellites, or VSAT normally we call them, in these 2,000 locations, they go to the satellite up in the air and then they go down and are collected by the hub. And from there, they're connected to the internet or to other private networks if need be. So it's really for now for a specific project that the company won.
Mm. And of course, you anticipated my next question already, sir. Uh, Elon Musk, we keep on hearing this in the news that there's going to be a tie-up. Ano na ba? What has materialized so far? And can you tell us, well, what you can disclose, no, are currently in the works? And how soon can you give us the details?
Well, what we do know, there are many components that they are building to be able to eventually provide the service to the Philippine Islands. So, there is a network hub, there will be a satellite hub, and there will be network connectivity between those sites, no, the satellite and the network hubs. And I think these contracts have been won by various parties. We are not at liberty to talk about which piece we won, but these are all just part of them building up the capability to start a service. So as far as we know, they haven't really, gone into any discussions about, who they're gonna partner with, or what kind of partnership there will be. So that's to the best of our knowledge today.
Okay, okay. Now, Mrs. Uy, I want to ask your thoughts about Elon Musk. Have you met him now, or have you spoken to him, or are there talks of you and Mr. Uy having a meeting with him? Ano ba? What do you think of him?
Obviously, he's like a game changer then, no? So Dennis actually idolizes him in that sense, no? Because we wanna disrupt the industry, So that's Elon Musk for in the side of ano, no, like Tesla and all this. But I haven't met him personally. I'd love to meet him. I'm sure he's a very interesting person.
Mm. Okay, I'm just running through kung ano yung mga topics in the news and Converge. And I was able to stumble upon this topic. Bloomberg reported that a shareholder seeking $200 million in a block trade, Coherent Cloud Investments, is offering to sell 355 million shares at 30 pesos to 31 pesos per share. Can you tell us how that will impact the business?
Actually, I think that happened already, no, early this morning. I think the trade happened. No? That
Ah, yeah.
actually helps, yeah, that actually helps the company in the sense that there's more public float. So before during the IPO, we only did like 20% public float, but because Warburg sold some of their holdings, then now we're reaching the 26% public float. No, it's helpful because of course we want to get in the MSCI index, and part of the requirement is bigger public float. No, so it's actually very helpful. No? They still own naman quite big share pa. No, they're still the major, the single largest shareholder. No, so they still have about 10%, and they continue to be involved with the business, and they continue to bring in a lot of value added. No, so
Mm,
yeah, it's good for the company.
mm. Now, Ma'am Grace, I wanted to ask then the history of Converge. Did you ever see it going to be this big, this soon? Yung Converge nasama na sa iba't ibang indices, di ba? And of course, going public. Did you ever see it going to be this big, this soon?
Actually, it's not that soon, no? Dennis actually started this very early, like 1990s, no? He was still pretty young then, no? So he started in a cable business, and then he started growing it. We upgraded into a fiber backbone very early on. I think that was early 2000. And then we started expanding towards areas that like Bulacan, Bataan, until we reached Metro Manila. We were serving enterprise customer using the Destiny Cables infrastructure. So that was the very start of everything, and then we got the franchise to roll out nationwide. That was around 2012. So we were just reinvesting everything and growing the company slowly. But then we realized, no, the product that we have and the expertise of Dennis in this technology is really something we should invest on. No, so we just started growing the company as each year passed. But then we realized sometime 2017, 18 that we can actually do this faster, and serve more people faster. So that's when we had to take on an equity partner. So in choosing an equity partner, it's not easy. It's not all about money. So we really needed someone who can help us in terms of growing the company, and then like improving the things we do and make us a world class company. So that's why we chose Warburg, and hindi naman kami nagkamali. So they really help us through. When you say that, did I think that we're gonna be this big? Definitely not. No, so we were really just focused on serving more areas and growing the fiber network. No, and then but then Warburg Pincus, of course, they're looking at doing an IPO, and then eventually listing the company, and having the even our employees are stockholders now. Some of them are investing to buy our own shares. No, so we're suddenly we're this big already without us realizing na parang nako, we can be this big pala. No, at that time we were really just focused on just doing our best. Each year we improve, we continue to go to new areas, but then we never thought that all this would really happen too fast. No, so now we're
Mm,
nationwide. We completed the domestic backbone just this year, and we're hoping to get to Vismin and even Palawan, no, by next year.
mm. Now, this nationwide rollout, I'm sure, was very challenging, exhausting even. So, what did you learn, Mrs. Oy and Sir Buboy as well? What did you guys learn during this rollout? any challenges and ano ba, may wish list ba kayo na sana naman mas madali on this aspect or it would have been easier if this and that?
Well, one thing we learned, no, because when I joined Dennis and Grace back in 2016, the first, I think it was like 150,000 ports in Metro Manila was fully outsourced to one of these big, manufacturer construction type companies, no, a foreign company. But then we realized that they were, well, really not doing it very well. No? So we were facing delays. And then based on small projects we were doing ourselves, we also realized that it was kind of expensive. So I think what Dennis and Grace really did well and different, no, was to form this construction company called Metroworks. It's a 100% owned subsidiary. So Metroworks only does fiber network construction. They do it very well, and they only do it for Converge today. I mean, just with Converge, they have their hands full. You know, previously they even did jobs for other carriers. So that is what made it possible to to really roll out faster, because now we control the rollout ourselves, we control the quality, we control the cost. So I think the biggest learning was that you have to do it differently from others. The others were really fully outsourcing everything, and because we experienced the same thing, we realized that that was not the right way to go. You know, sometimes we just wish that when we go to certain places, maybe people or certain authorities would realize that what we're doing is something that would benefit the people there. Let's say subdivision, the residents, town, maybe the constituents and the citizens, and maybe consider to make it easier, and maybe consider to uh, maybe lower certain fees. But in our case, we just follow the process. We have teams who only do permitting, and if there are fees, so be it. If it's beyond what we believe is reasonable, we would just bypass and move somewhere else, because we still have a whole country to wire. So siguro yun lang, if you ask about a wish
Mm.
list.
Mm. Kaya Mrs. Uy, anything to add on that?
Yeah, siguro the hardest in the past was really to parang get our brand out there, no? Of course, we started in Pampanga. Hindi naman kami kilala dito sa Manila, no? But it's like Converge. Who's Converge? Like, is it Converge? I remember we're being mixed up with the BPO Converge, no? So it's difficult at the very start, no? Kasi yun nga, parang we were trying to get into the consumer market, and of course hindi naman kami, we don't have much funds to do all this advertising, no, at the time. So what helped us then was really like the experience of users, no. So it started with a bunch of friends. They realized na, oh my god, there's such fast internet pala, no, because their current provider are really a bit like on the slow side, no? So when they were in my house, they tried the internet. They were so surprised na seconds lang talagang, everything runs, no? So it started with that. We started wiring for friends, and then friends, and stuff like that. And word of mouth talaga, no? As I told my team, no? Kung talagang gagawa lang ako ng flowchart of how the very first subscriber of Converge happened, no? Talagang madidikit-dikit mo sila, no? You can kind of link them. One would bring 10 friends, 10 friends would bring relatives, and all this. And then that's when we started gaining the confidence that we can actually do this on a bigger scale, no? So that's the I think that's the most challenging.
Mm. Interesting na magkakamag-anak, kaibigan, that was your first link, But again, also I want to congratulate you, Mrs. Uy, for being named as among Forbes Asia's Power Business Women for this year. Congratulations, ma'am.
Malayo. No, the Converge is actually a team effort naman, no. Whatever we have reached right now, it's a team effort, no. Everybody from Dennis, definitely, no, and then my management team, even the smallest employee in the company, no. We all have the same vision, and they share that vision, no. So it's easier that way kasi parang lahat it's not hard to like set a target and people would follow, no? So, small steps, baby steps, but we eventually are able to get to where we are now.
Mm. Now, going back to the rollout and the pandemic, parang magkakalapit yung events eh, 'di ba? So, that must have been a wild ride for Converge na going public, going national, and then here comes the pandemic. Ang dami nangyari. So, what did you learn? And has your leadership style changed? Any realizations?
What have we learned during the pandemic? Definitely that having a fixed broadband connection is really like a necessity, no? Kung dati people are just, making do with a slower connection kasi most of the time naman they're at work, no? Now they realize that, having a fixed broadband connection is really important or a necessity, no? So I think that was the thing that really kind of spearheaded, no? Na-accelerate lahat, no? Yung demand. And then like we had to, of course, with the pandemic, diba, everybody was caught by surprise. Nobody was really prepared that that could happen to the country, no? So, we had to really navigate a lot of things na you don't see your employees yet you have to work together, no, to get to the demands of the people, no? So huge demand, and then we were like trying to just put together more people to be able to address that huge demand, no? So it was a bit of a struggle. And then there was also the time that our partner said, this is right, like the right time, no? Let's start the process of doing the IPO. That way we can raise the funds needed for the growth of the company in the coming years, no? So yun, dahan-dahan we were doing virtual meetings with investors, no? I remember we were doing meetings as early as 8 a.m. until like 10 p.m. at night, no? Every area, may kausap kami ibang investor, no? So we ran the process online, and you kind of you can't imagine, no? Before when they do the roadshow, you have to fly from one country to another, no? So it was done very efficiently, no? That's really the value out of Warburg. They're really quite pagbaga ano na sila dito, expert na, no? So wala kami naging problema running the roadshow and then getting investors interested with the company, and successful IPO launch.
Mm. Now, everybody's talking about what they've learned, of course, and now everybody's looking forward to 2022 and maybe this Christmas. Na ano, we're going out. Everybody's very positive. Kayo rin ba? And what do you think are the tech trends for 2022? Uh, and how can Converge ride on those trends?
Well, we're cautiously optimistic. We're seeing signs of recovery. We're closely watching the COVID situation. Obviously, we're kind of pleased that the cases are coming down. But of course, we're also praying that there won't be another Delta type variant. So, barring that, we are hopeful that it means that the economy will finally reopen. Businesses will continue to expand again. We've seen a lot of downsizing actually in the past few months, no? Especially on the enterprise space. At least on the consumer space, as you know very well, demand has been very strong. But we do need businesses to start recovering so that they can gainfully employ more people. So that's what we're closely watching, and there are positive signs. On the tech trends, we're seeing that all of the new digital capabilities are really being built in the cloud. Like the cloud, meaning um, running on servers run by cloud providers, Amazon, Google, Microsoft, etc. And then you have something that's more of a like a network of networks, di ba? The Bitcoin. It actually is
Mm.
a very distributed thing, right? There are people who run Bitcoin mining devices People are even selling specific devices. So all of this only possible when you have a very good digital connectivity, right? A high speed, reliable, high quality, and affordable broadband service, which is normally only available on fiber. Even the way we work today, this virtual interview, video calls, even the entertainment that people are now consuming are all out there. No, it's no longer the traditional. It's either in your home or the brick and mortar. So again, it requires good connectivity. So these trends that we're seeing today and other things coming along are only possible because people like Converge have taken the jump and made a commitment to invest and make high speed and affordable fiber broadband available to as many people as possible. So that's how
Mm.
we become a beneficiary of all of these trends.
Mm. Now, let me also add, all these talks about NFTs and, Facebook's Metaverse, yung rebrand nila. I mean, is it too far from the future, or do you see that uh, much closer than we think? Ano ba? What's the outlook on those? In particular, yung yung Metaverse na yan. Do we see people using goggles, doing virtual meetings like that, and socializing like that?
We were having a chat about just this thing kanina, no? Kasi sabi ko nga parang we're using flat devices like the PC we use today, no? It's a laptop with a screen. It's very flat. Pero when you think about what the metaverse potentially is, the new permutation of your online digital experience, it's no longer typing on a keyboard or looking at a screen. So, sabi ko nga, prime example, di ba? Tony Stark on Iron Man. Remember his computer with this holographic display, and then, he's just moving his hands. Although in that case, he didn't have to wear goggles. Potentially it can happen. It's happening today more on the area of gaming, no? So in gaming, virtual reality, augmented reality is already, kind of, well, in other countries at least, mainstream. Diba yung goggles na ganon. Recently nga, we were given this kind of VR goggles to test out. In the Philippines, parang hindi pa masyado. Pero as you know, it's just a matter of time before it comes to us. When it will evolve into something that we use at work, right, to kind of make our job, I don't know, more efficient maybe, or to make, the experience easier for workers, baka matagal-tagal pa. But, again, mind you, when you talk of these things, right, the VR, the AR, holographic, they require a lot of bandwidth. So maybe what we can just say is at least Converge is laying the groundwork for the time when these, next generation of the online experience really becomes mainstream in our country. Pero today, parang maaga pa. I mean, even in gaming, I don't think it's mainstream in the country yet.
And you mentioned internet speed and bandwidth. Nako, although the country has improved significantly in recent years, if you compare it to other peers, pansin pa rin talaga. Alam ba, when you go abroad, the internet speed. Mrs. Uy, I want to ask you this. How soon kaya do we attain those speeds? Or how optimistic are you that we attain those speeds of the so-called first world countries?
If you are subscribed to our premium plan, we're already at par, no, with the Asian countries around us, no? Like our 3.5 plan is now from 200 Mbps. We boosted it up to 800 Mbps, no? So we are the first to do the speed boost, no? So the least speed that we have now is 50 Mbps, no? So that's allowing maybe a household of 5 people using Facebook or what you call this, Netflix, and work from home together with study online, no? Sabay-sabay yan, kaya yan, no, ng 50 Mbps, no? So that's the base speed that we offer now. And then the highest speed that we have is burst to 800 Mbps, no? So that's far better than some Asian countries na, no? So we're there.
Mm.
Don't ano, basta converge ka, then you can speed.
Hindi pa ako converge. Sorry. But now I also want to ask naman, cost, what will bring it down din? Kasi it's also been discussed na mas mahal tayo. I mean, would you agree to that? Mas mahal tayo as
Well,
compared to our regional peers.
like it's not really mas mahal. Definitely you see naman, no, the huge investment that any provider has to do, no, kasi some countries iba ang landscape nila, no, like some countries like Singapore, Australia, ang gumagastos ng infrastructure is actually the government, no. They fund and they do the infrastructure for any players, and then the players would just lease, no. In our case kasi each player has to wire their own backbone. You have to do everything from scratch, no? Kaya medyo mabigat talaga yung capex, no? If you can see nga, the capex that we deploy a year, no, is far bigger than the total revenue of the company, no? So it has to be done that way for a few years before parang you start reaping the rewards, no? So for now, you know, the price point, I feel naman it may not be as cheap as how it is in some countries, but I think it's fairly affordable naman, no? So, you know, we try to put that balance, no? Of course, we don't want it to be such a burden that parang rich lang or the can afford lang ang pwedeng mag-subscribe, no? You know, having 3-5 plan or 2-5 plan, that's basically what, you know, eating out for a night, no? So and then you have it for 24/7 for 30 days, no? So we don't think it's that expensive. Yeah.
Mm. Now, balikan ko lang actually, you Mr. Romero mentioned Netflix. So, anong pinapanood nyo ngayon? Any series recommendations or anything that we should watch that's worthy of our weekend?
Nako, ikaw, boy. Kasi baka pag ako, puro Korean.
Hindi ako lately not so much on Netflix. I think I got to the point where maybe nothing is interesting for me right now. Before Grace talks about her Netflix preference, I'd like to say ako ngayon I'm on YouTube a lot, you know. As you can imagine, we're quite busy. For example, I like basketball. Well, watching, no? I stopped playing, I got injured. So sa YouTube, ano siya, compressed na, highlights lang, no? I get to watch NBA. And by the way, in YouTube, so many learning videos, no? Whatever topic you want, you know, I'm a future farmer, so I watch a lot of videos on how to set up a farm, etc. So ako personally, that's where I spend a lot of time now, online.
That's interesting. Ako naman yung mahilig ako sa halaman. And I watch, same tayo, sir. I also watch videos on how to cultivate, things like that. And Mrs. Uy, nako, K-pop, K-drama fan pala kayo. So what are you watching right now? And ano yung mga natapos niyo?
I think I've finished most of the interesting ones in Netflix. So wala na masyadong mapanood.
Baka may paparating na kasi Netflix invested a lot on K-drama, di ba?
Yeah.
And yeah, this has been a great conversation and hoping to meet both of you very soon in person naman when the pandemic,
Finally
COVID-19 cases. Oo. So yeah, and on that note, very soon.
Yeah, we just have to follow the protocols and hopefully it will end sooner.
Yes. And on that note, thanks so much, Converge President and Co-founder Grace Uy and COO Jesus Romero. This has been another episode of Business Sense. I'm Ralph Rivas. Thanks for watching.